This is your prophecy update. In Ezekiel chapter 38, it names the major nations that will come against Israel at the Battle of Armageddon. Ezekiel 38, verse 2 mentions Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Well, this is referring to modern-day Russia. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 5 mentions Persia, which is modern-day Iran. Now, Ezekiel's prophecy was given approximately 2,500 years ago, and look at the conflict that's boiling in the Middle East today to see a fulfillment or the eventual fulfillment, these precursors to this prophecy of Ezekiel 38. And the Debka file reports that there are 4 players jockeying for a post-war positions in Syria: the United States and Israel versus Russia and Iran. Now, Trump took a big move in this game on January 12th when he stipulated that Europe agrees to overhaul the Iran nuclear accord on enrichment and ballistic missiles. That condition, which President Trump laid down for the future, when on Friday he met with the deadline for recertifying U.S. sanction waivers and kept the 2015 nuclear accord in place. And it was just one facet of the administration's frontal campaign against Iran. The main arena of this evolving pitched battle is Syria. Debka files Washington and military sources report, and its targets not only Iran but also Russia. The Trump administration opted for this policy departure as the new year unfolded in the light of 4 game-changing developments. Number 1, Russia is not pulling its army out of Syria after all, despite the commitment made publicly by President Vladimir Putin on December 11th. Just the reverse of that, Moscow is bolstering its military presence there, mainly with Air Force contingents. And number 2, moves on the ground attest to deepening Russian-Iranian cooperation in Syria. Remember the prophecy of Ezekiel. Russia and Iran are going to lead the charge at the eventual Battle of Armageddon. We're watching precursors of this. It's kind of being set up right now. Number 3, Iran is reported by intelligence agencies to be preparing a large-scale supplementary military deployment to Syria, which our sources estimate as running to several thousand Shiite fighters. And then 4th and final, Tehran has boasted its consignments of advanced weaponry to Syria, including ballistic missiles. The Israeli airstrikes on January 9th targeted one of those shipments when it was delivered to a Syrian ground-to-ground missile base at Al-Qatafiyah, west of Damascus. Now, Trump has dropped his former decision to limit U.S. military action in Syria to fighting the Islamic State. He is now ready to go for the Iranian military presence in Syria, including its proxy, Hezbollah. And this opened the door to closer U.S.-Israeli military cooperation in Syria. But there are also broader connotations. Now Syria finds itself back at the heart of the Middle East conflict. And as the civil war winds down, that country is evolving into a pivotal arena for big power competition, with the U.S. and Israel lining up against Russia and Iran. Interestingly, the easing of the tensions between Washington and Pyongyang has helped Washington switch its focus to the jockeying for position in the post-war Syria against 2 other rivals, Moscow and Tehran. Now here we have the United States and Israel versus Russia and Iran, clearly setting the stage for the eventual Battle of Armageddon.